All right, so go ahead.
All right, good. Well, welcome everybody. I guess we weren't able to get the minutes out, so we can't vote on those. And I really don't have a whole lot on the director's report. I did go over the maps that were just sent, that Max just sent out, and those are, to me, those some of those properties are really interesting. So it'll be fun to kind of go through that in some detail, I think. Um, but that's, I think that's just about all I have. I don't have anything really new to share. So I don't know if maybe, Max, it makes sense that we just start looking at those, start talking about the maps a little bit, or
Yeah, I can just start right now if you want.
yeah, would you?
Let's just screen share.
So maybe just give everybody a background first in terms of the purpose and why we're doing this, and what the select board had decided that the EDC should do with this information.
Yeah, so a few months back, I'm sorry that this is going back and forth. A few months ago, the select board wanted a committee to review some town-owned properties just to see what potential uses they could have, whether it's something we should hold on to, something we should turn into a little recreation or pocket park, or if we should just sell it to possibly a budding landowner, or if we can find literally any use for it. Oh my goodness. Again, sorry for all the scrolls in and out. I'm trying to handle this well. So what I've done was take a list of what we do have for town-owned parcels. And keep in mind, these parcels that you're going to see, they, on the tax card, say that they are owned by the town of Waldoboro. So we don't have the utility district properties, none of the Mid-Coast Conservancy properties. This is all town of Waldoboro owned. So there are going to be some very obvious ones you're going to see, like the transfer station over here.
Yep.
Can you see my mouse?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You're going to see the transfer station, Quarry Hill, the usual suspects. But there's also these interesting little tidbits in town. Like, for example, did anyone know that we have a piece of property right here at the Washington Old Augusta Road intersection?
No. Did not know that.
So is that really on the intersection? It looks like it's inside on Old Augusta Road a bit.
Yep, I'm going to scroll in just a lot more. It's this little yellow block right here. That is about, I have the sizes in front of me. That is 0.11 acres right there.
Wow.
0.11 acres right here.
How did the town acquire that?
That's a very good question. I think a lot of these properties may have been just a lot bigger originally, and it's just slowly been carved out, leaving little remnants like this and some ones you're going to see closer to the industrial park or in the downtown area.
Because 0.11 acres is like nothing.
Because I think what this might have been, and Paul told me what this type of thing was. I think this might be like an old water source for when the fire department needed spaces way out in the middle of nowhere in Waldoboro.
Yeah.
Like there's the one here, and then there's the one next to the Broad Bay Church.
Oh, you're kidding.
In the downtown.
Oh my gosh.
So that just might be it. And that's why we're looking at it, because we may say, oh, well, we don't really ever need that now that we have like tankers. So maybe sell it, maybe turn it into a little rest stop.
Is it the case that we don't need any more natural water sources for fighting fires?
Well, the only reason I said that is because with the fire department and their tanker trucks, there's really, and plus this is going to be up there next to Washington and Jefferson. The fire department's a pretty mobile force that can address any fires that are at least up there. So at least for this immediate area, we don't really need that type of water source.
I think that when it comes to, I know up at the business park, um, one of the considerations for insurance is how far it is from a pond,
Oh, yeah.
which suggests to me that if there's a pond, the fire department can use it. So I'm not sure we have to own it to use it.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, that'd be worth finding out. So, sorry to interrupt, Max. So you said you took these from a list. So is there a list?
Yeah, there was a list that was compiled back in 2013, and it hasn't changed since. I'm sorry, Scott. I think I distributed it at an earlier meeting, and perhaps it didn't, and perhaps you might not have been on the list at the time. But I was just going to quickly go through each property and
Okay.
just to show where it is and
Okay.
what we just did. A quick thought from people, and I'll send the list back out after the meeting. So all the way up there, we have the one there. Transfer station, I don't think I really need to go too in depth of what it is. Where my mouse is right now is where we have the solar farm that the town will possibly be purchasing in a few years.
How many acres is that?
That is, sorry, but everyone, that is 60 acres. It's quite sizable. I think there's potential to still do a lot more, at least in this back area.
Sure.
Very sloped, but I
Hey,
mean,
Max, when we go to the transfer station, and like if you have like a couch or something like that, you're going to drop off. You kind of go to the way back of the transfer station.
yes.
Whereabouts is that on this map?
I do not know. I'm not John Daigle, so I'd have to ask him where that is. But I think it would be a lot further back here. This is where the road at least ends.
Yeah.
That might be it.
So the
Way
kind of
back.
that back square is kind of like just vacant land. Probably.
This is empty. This is nothing but green.
Yeah.
Please remember though that the original vision was that there was going to be another landfill back there.
Ah,
And DEP said we couldn't put landfills in anymore. So we're closing our last one. No more landfills. But that's one of the reasons they had so much land back there.
Where's the last one, Bob?
We just closed it.
Where is it?
It's at the transfer station behind.
Oh, I didn't know we had one there. Okay, great.
So that's possibly for consideration.
Is that south facing? Is there more solar potential there?
Again, I think that would be something that just involves driving up, because I know if I were to get the contour lines up here,
You
It
said it
would be
was
such a mess, we wouldn't know what we were looking at, probably.
one sec. These are just some, hopefully they'll load.
Ooh, that's
Just
cool.
see the topography.
You have to take the yellow off. It's pretty hard to see. There it is. Yeah, you can see it's steep there.
Yeah,
That would be too expensive to build a solar thing on, I would think. They, a lot more effort to put one in on a steep slope.
well, let me get the yellow off if I can. Oops. Yeah, it's a rather steep one, especially in this area.
Yeah.
You could look at a way of trying to at least put
Yeah.
something back here.
I think the ridge, it looks like it's relatively north-south if this is oriented like I think it is.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, that was just there's a lot of solar things going on up on that road between that and the Reed property.
Yes.
One area back there where we might consider putting additional solar is on top of the new cap.
Where's the
Oh.
new cap? Is it like over?
It's
It's literally at the
right-
end of the road there.
right close to the existing cap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like
It's the big round part.
Right.
yeah, right around here. Okay. I'm gonna turn this off then if that's all right. So then over here we have our town garage.
Wow.
We've got a lot of land.
They do that. I was actually surprised when I saw that. That's about. I'm sorry, I'm doing this back and forth. 56 acres. However, you got to keep in mind that this right here, where my mouse is going around, that's actually a wetland.
Mm,
So that puts a good chunk of this property in the shoreland zone. So that
yeah.
might be why there's not too much development, especially around this area. But
You know how far that is from the town wells?
how this far? You mean when you say town well? Do you mean all the way the wellhead right down here?
Well, it's on the other side, but yeah,
Depot Street, I think.
you're on One Pie Road, your mouse,
Yeah. This is the town garage right up here.
right? And this is the other town,
This is the pump station down here.
right? So do you know how far that is between them? In terms of that 1,000-foot circle is what I'm driving at.
I mean, the property lines are about 2,000 feet away from each other.
Okay, all right, so they're not interfering with each other at all,
No,
like when we pile salt and stuff.
no, it's quite a ways away.
Okay,
I mean, I think in the past, John's been pretty open to thinking of some different things down here. But again, the shoreline kind of limits a good chunk of it. I know hearing 56 means, oh, let's do something up here. But yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good chunk of wetland taking up a good part of it. I mean, there's some
Max,
possibilities down here.
Is that a road that runs through it? At the bottom?
This right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just, I think, an access for getting down there. Again, that's a good chunk of this is stuff I'd have to talk to John about. This is more of just running through all the properties so you can see it right now.
Okay.
But down here, the pump station, as previously mentioned, right around here is the actual station itself. It has a similar problem. Right over here is a wetland, so shoreland zone and protected right up there. This little sliver right here could potentially be cut off just because we don't really need all this if we're not going to be doing any development in a wetland. Someone could probably build a home right over here and they'd just be just outside of that 250. Everything else that goes on here, there's actually quite a bit of room to do something up here.
Yeah.
Isn't it basically regarded as a recharge area?
What do you mean a recharge area?
Well, you get water either from the river or from the sky that
okay.
falls, and then it's cleansed by the soil, and then goes down into the aquifer that we actually
Right.
get our water.
I've got a feeling from my understanding of the water in that neighborhood that the water that they're sucking out of the ground is probably coming from about 500 feet down and has almost nothing to do with the river or the local recharge. At least that's apparently the case on my big well.
I don't.
I may be wrong. I don't know.
George,
Well-
but I think it's worth looking into.
Yeah, I think there's something that just needs to be understood for tonight's meeting is that we're not really making any big decisions on any of this. This is just going through the properties.
Yep.
Maybe something will jump out at people. And that's just me just saying, it's things like this. Here's the big wetland, but everything else is something that we can consider. And if something like Bob brings up is something that we should just look a bit more into, then we can certainly do that.
Just
Right.
a quick comment. If that wet area is something less than 200 acres, I think environmentally you look at it differently than a typical wetland. So I think 200 acres is kind of a delineating size, isn't it?
Well, everything is definitely less than 200 acres in the town.
Yeah.
But I know that when the town was creating its shoreland zoning, this was regarded as a wetland because of the
Right.
vegetation and other
Is
species.
it connected to the river maybe?
Yes, I don't have the wetland map up, but it does connect around here.
Okay, that makes a difference. So then it's I can't remember the terminology, but I happen to have gone through this on a property I have in Jefferson.
There you go.
So
So,
Matt, Max, is that for that adjacent lot? It looks like a road. Is that access? Is that so? There's deeded access to the pump station through that property.
Yes. So right
Okay.
here at the corner, that's the hunting association building. That
Yep.
Yep. And right next door to it, we were granted this easement for the pump station.
Okay.
So with that said, going down, there are these two little bits next to the industrial park. So I assume George is going to perk up right now.
I'm not paying attention.
These
I don't
two
know
are,
what they are. They're not anything that I have control or access to.
yeah, they're right across the street from, well, at the intersection. There's this one on the northern part that, again, I don't know how something like this got carved. What might have happened was this all might have been one parcel, and then Cross Street was formed, cutting right through it. That might be what happened.
Well, the railroad tracks go right through there, so
Yeah,
that
right.
might have been what split them more than Cross Street.
Well, the railroads are over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Right.
But anyways, this right here, the U13 15 one, that's like very sad small number. It was
It looks small.
But
I mean,
we don't know how we got it, apparently.
no, as I say, it's likely just something that was created as one big unit, and then Cross Street was formed, splitting it in half, and now it's the way it is. I mean, this is something that I think this is one of the better examples of, let's see if the adjacent owner is interested in buying it, because honestly, 0.52 acres. That's
Half
what,
an acre.
Half an acre is not.
yeah, I thought it was a lot smaller, but maybe that's because I just see this little pathetic
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing dingling over there.
What is the rule now on building? I thought we had a minimum lot size for building a house or something. That-
Yes.
1.8 acres.
Yes, depending on the district, you have to have a certain square footage for a newly created lot. I don't have the land use ordinance in front of me, but just as an example, out in the rural district, you would need about 2 acres or
Mm.
to have a brand new lot. I think where
But this is an existing lot.
it's an existing lot, but I'm also curious how someone can build something brand new on top of
Right.
this,
Right.
Yeah.
considering the setbacks that exist as well.
Right. You need setbacks and be
The
factored
lot,
in.
the lot across the street from it, the square one, that might have been taken back by the town. As you can see there, I think there's the remains of a trailer there, or there was a long time ago. That might just be something that we acquired for taxes
Mm-hmm.
20
Uh,
years ago.
Mm.
That one, U13-8, it just says it's an empty. It just says it's an empty corner lot.
Can
Um,
you
was
take
it-
the
there was
yellow
a-
away from, Max,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you remove the yellow from that for a
Yeah.
sec?
Yeah, it's just as it says, it's an empty lot. I think some people put stuff on there just because it's an empty lot.
There was
Oh, no,
a
that's
I've
That's a
been
car
driving
sitting over there, isn't it?
Yeah, keep in mind, this
I've
isn't a live feed or anything.
I've been driving past that lot for 45 years. There was a trailer there, and a Mr. Hussey who lived in it, who was an unusual man. And it all fell apart, and he didn't have water, and he died. And they cleaned the trailer up. And I don't know why the town would own it unless someone didn't pay the taxes.
It
Mhm.
might have just been acquired because no one paid taxes, and then
Yep.
we may have put it up for sale and no one wanted it for sale.
You know,
Just doing a quick measurement.
it's not a bad little corner lot if somebody wanted it.
Yeah.
No, I was, and about half an acre. It's pretty decent.
Well, you would, if back to the lot size, if you don't have town sewer, then a half acre is not going to be enough for a house, I don't think,
Probably not.
In that area,
in any area.
in any area.
I think
Even
it's
in
town sewer,
existing,
not
because, yeah, because we have lots of people on small pieces of land that got carved up over time.
If there was the trailer or a house still there, and if it still was connected to a septic system, if he had a septic system, then it would probably be grandfathered. But if it's been torn down and mowed, I think probably that's just a small lot that's, the people next to it should probably buy it, but I don't think anybody else.
So just out of curiosity, can you put a business, Max, on a small piece of property like that, or does it come under the same rules as a residence for?
It still falls into the same ordinance rules, but I mean, if it's, as it was said earlier, if it's an existing lot, you know, the dimensional standards are fine at that point, as long as they can meet the setback requirements. So if someone wants to put a food truck there, you know, as long as it's certain feet away from the road, as long as it's a certain feet away from the property line, they can have a food truck there.
Or a building with a composting toilet?
They could do that. I don't know how everyone will feel about that, but yes, that's still possible.
I think it would be a variance. Well, you know, if you said, yeah, but I'm gonna have a composting toilet, that might get you past the fact that you're not on town sewer and you don't have enough room for a leach field. The parcel directly across there that has still has the remains of a couple houses on it. The one with the wiggly edge that follows a little creek, I think.
Yeah. That we probably need to sell.
Well, you don't own it, so, and I would like to buy it, but no one wants to sell it.
Wait, hold on. This little bit?
No, the one, that one right there. Yeah.
Oh, that. Well, that's not a town property. That we're not really focusing
Yeah,
on
but
that.
I'm saying it's a similar size where if they do ever take the remains of the houses down, even though there's a town-built septic system right in the middle of it, I don't know what they would do. There was a septic system that the town financed to go in there because it needed one, and it's fed by two houses there. And I'm not even sure both houses are on that little wiggly edge parcel, but that's an interesting question because the houses, one of them had a fire, and it's a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah, they're in an interesting spot, but that's just a few little bits we have over there.
Okay, continue.
So it sounds like sounds like the southern corner is going to have a little more interesting thoughts we can do for the future. So over here we have this area. I don't know if you guys know what it is. It's called Quarry Hill. Just kidding. So that's a pretty big area, and even just so you know that these two spots, these are privately owned parcels inside of Quarry Hill.
So the town does not own those two squares?
Right. The town does not own these two squares.
And the little square that's tagged onto the corner, what's that?
That is a separate town-owned piece of property.
And it doesn't quite reach Depot Street.
It does not quite reach Depot Street. Correct.
Okay, landlocked.
So, yeah, so where's the water in the quarry? That's
Right down here,
right?
Yep. Right here itself is the quarry.
Okay.
Over here is the blueberry fields that are no longer going to be harvested every year. I think that's now going to be more of a town thing that can be done. And then over here, I believe we lease this bit of the property out to Spears Farm for growing some corn.
Oh.
And I think somewhere along here is where the snowmobile trail sort of goes off into the whole thing. It's actually a very nice little trail to walk during the summer. That I think would need a bit more. I mean, we also have an easement on here with the, I think now it's technically the Conservancy and not the Land Trust. So what can be done here is more conservation and outdoor recreation focused. So it kind of was already settled for what to do with this.
Is there any significant elevation change in the back part of that the snowmobile trail runs through, or is it?
Quarry itself is off a big hill.
There's certainly a slope right around here, but it's very reasonable.
Okay, they're up in the corner. Okay, so I'm just saying if the snowmobile, I was just thinking if the snowmobile trail, because I haven't been up there, So it could be nice in the winter. It's nice to snowshoe or ski on the snowmobile trails as well.
Yeah.
Have to
As I
go
say,
see what that's like. Okay.
as I said, when I was first here, one of the things that really was catching my eye was trying to really expand the trail system that's here,
Mm-hmm.
just for the summer and winter use. Because I think somewhere down here, there's also another property that we could expand the trail system down towards.
Well, and if you go in that left corner of it, there's like quite a ravine look there.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
The snowmobile trail comes across 32 and then goes out through my property too. So that is a lot of trail there.
oh yeah.
But we got a lot of snowmobile trail in Waldeboro.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. That's
More
its
trails
own,
than snow.
that's its own map I got to do one day.
Yeah, its own map.
Yeah.
So there's not much over in the eastern part of Waldeboro. I know there's a
No.
school and everything, but again, that's not really counted in this whole thing. Right here is the town municipal office. Pretty clear cut on this one. There's a very decent sized chunk right behind the town office for those who haven't really ever wandered in the back. I think that was planned more for future expansions. This past summer, there was a bit of a digging in the back. So hopefully we're going to be doing something with all that area that's been dug up in the past. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What I also did was I had some UMO students look at the culvert that's down here, try and see what it would take to possibly get a walking little underpath right here to connect to the 80 grade trail. But there's really not much else to really talk about for this area, I'd say, unless anyone has some other thoughts.
Well, it has its own connection to Depot Street. So I mean, theoretically, you could sell that for a house or something. But
Sort of cut. Well, actually, yeah, I mean, if the town didn't see any reason to ever have this back area, I think you could probably just sell off this whole back area and then someone could just build a house right back here.
yeah,
The only thing is we'd have to buy another spot to expand the town office on. I mean,
Right.
in the
Right.
comprehensive plan, we've got plans for expanding the actual infrastructure of the town office, or at least goals, I should say goals.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a difficult thing to have to get back if you gave it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, oops, sorry. So then we start getting into the downtown. I'll try and go a bit quicker since we're half an hour through. Right here is the rest area, right next to Hannaford. There used to apparently be a road or a bridge right here that connected it to Elm Street.
It was.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Similar to over here, I am having some UMO students look at seeing what it would take for getting another sort of footbridge right here as a way if we can do sort of a big old walking path here. I know Mill Street's right there, but this
I
is
think that'd be nice.
just to have something that goes right over the water. And then my dream would be if the Lavelle House right here, because no one lives there. I've even tried to reach out to these people multiple times and I never got a response from them. This would be a very lovely area to turn into something. Like when I was walking by with them,
yeah.
they looked at all these southern properties and just it had very great views of the water and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those rocks in the river, the water comes over them. It's quite pretty back there.
it all sort of, well, then it gets over here to where there used to be an old pump station, I believe. That's it. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's not still a pump station?
Um,
I think it might still be a pump station for the sewer system, the low point there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find Elm Street on this weird thing. Old Water Department Building is what it says. I think I think John Daigle has been itching to tear that building down for quite a while, and I think Conservation Commission a few years ago was saying let's put some little benches there, make it a little pocket park. I don't have any objection to that. And as I say, if all these properties somehow were to come under town ownership, we got a very nice little area right there on Elm Street.
I think Elm Street and that line to the remains of the bridge was probably the predate to the early Route 1. I mean, that would have been the road to cross the river on at one point.
And I'm just going to zoom in just so people can see what we have right here. It's very awkward, I'd say. The little.
Oh, it's small too, yeah.
Yeah, there's not going to be too much you can do with it. And I mean, someone could tear down the building and make a quick little tiny house, but that's
Yeah.
it.
It is a low point. I would be surprised if it didn't have something to do with transferring wastewater.
So then over here, oh, don't know what happened there. Over here on Mill Street is another bridge related item, or I think it was actually the dam. As you can see, these two spots used to be connected.
Yeah.
I mean, and now we're left with this. It's, again, you're not going to be able to do too much with this.
Where's the spot we count Aleways?
It's further down to the left.
Down,
Further
Down
down
south?
South Street to the left.
okay.
Down here?
No, not that.
No, it's down, it's,
Closer to the river, but
Okay.
well, it's right on the river. I mean, you go in from Jefferson Street.
Well, anyways, I mean, if there's no reason to have it, this seems like something to just sell off to the abutting owner, and because
can we assume
Fine.
the town owned the opposite bank where the dam used to be and then sold that off or gave that to somebody?
that's likely what happened
That
because
area there where your cursor is now?
yeah, because now that the thing is loaded up, you see
yeah.
what actually might have happened is this might have had the connection right here because this is actually very awkwardly made as parcel, and I can do some more digging to see what happened over here because you see the little convert right there, the little Audi.
Yeah.
It definitely must have been sold to this person at that point.
Mm.
And
Maybe it wasn't, and he's just using it.
maybe perhaps this person would want to have it as a little footbridge.
Yep.
Who knows? So I know there's that area over there, but I'm going to do a quick little detour. Over here is the recreation complex, the usual Miller Fields. And then over here is where we're hoping the community center could possibly be. Julie's been working on getting different types of easements so we can build up there. And that's I think 14 acres up there.
Is that a wetland? It looks,
No, it's going uphill.
Higher, it's
oh,
not.
it's going uphill. Okay.
Yeah,
The wetlands are down here.
Yeah.
Like you can see the perfect line that it actually creates. Once spring happens, you can go there and drive right up to it. You'll see where the wetlands are. And that's actually why we haven't been able to do any development up here, just because of the cost to develop right over it. But Julie is working hard to find an alternative route to get there.
It may be that, I guess you couldn't come from Old Route 1 because there's some land in between, isn't there? Yeah.
Old Route 1.
yeah.
You mean Route 1 or?
No, old.
West Main Street. West Main Street.
Okay.
I call Old Route 1.
Yeah, West Main Street.
Well, yes, I think, she would have to talk with pretty much all abutting landowners to see.
Don't we have, there, it looks to me like there's a land that goes right to West Main Street connected to this.
Yeah, it looks like we have
Go into the
access
ball field.
right there. Yeah.
Right there.
So, well,
this
they
goes to
actually
the
have
ball field.
land, right, they have land, so technically that is the only entrance.
Yes, just for the ball fields. And that's why Julie's looking at all the neighboring areas to get an access over to the
Mhm.
entire area without crossing.
it's also right next to the Miller School parking lot when I've been in at ball games. Is there any kind of a formal understanding with the school district about if that was ultimately more recreational, that we would be able to have a cooperative relationship with the SAD 40 or MS, whatever they are now?
There's actually a gate, George,
right around here.
from the ball field to the school.
Is
But-
it closed?
No, I mean, you can walk through it, go there.
That's what I was thinking.
I think
But
that
anyway, that's access, and the school would be the beneficiary if there was a nice soccer field back there or something.
well, hold on. When I'm saying access, I mean getting to this higher ground. Let me pull up the little contour lines because, well, maybe this doesn't convey a good point. But if you were to ever go to the ball fields and look straight at the area here, there is a bit of a drop right here. And again, it's getting around this little area, this little border right here.
Yeah.
That has been the main concern, just because that drives up the construction costs.
There's a lot of baseballs in there too.
Well, well, if you look at that lot to get to the ball fields, the town property goes to West Main Street.
Mhm.
It looks like that's part of the parking lot for the office. How is that working?
Yeah, I don't.
It
really
goes,
understand
it goes
some of
right by the office parking lot, and it could be, many things in town were shaking hand agreements, and
Sure. Yeah.
might have been it.
but technically that doctor's office, if the plans I keep hearing rumors of are true, that doctor's office is going to move anyway.
But okay, but since there's access down there, it looks like there's a connection. Looked like you could make a connection to that part of the property down along the bottom of the property.
It is wet,
That's-
though, Scott.
That's probably the easements she's.
The
looking at.
question becomes, is it big enough? Is it a big enough entryway for incoming and outgoing traffic, I guess?
We also have to remember construction vehicles if
Yeah.
this is where the
Mm.
community center is going to go.
Well, that's a big entrance road. That's probably 40 feet wide.
Yeah,
That's-
Yeah.
it's a
a
good
lot of
sized
entrance.
chunk of land, strip there.
No, I think if Julie's working on permitting or anything, it may be to do with making a left turn right after you get in there before you get to the first ball field,
Yeah.
because it is kind of crunchy and wet down there.
Ah, okay. So it's a wetland or a soft ground issue.
Yeah, if you hit into left field from that first baseball field, you literally get your feet wet getting the ball.
Hmm. Bummer. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, this is something I doubt we're going to be cutting off anytime soon.
No, it's interesting to learn though.
Then over here, this is a town water source as well. And this little area right here is sort of an easement to get it to Route 1 if we wanted to. So this is actually town water right here that perhaps could one day be just extended down here, and then gravity can do the rest of the work.
Is it a
Or-
well? Or what is it?
I believe it's a well.
It is a well. I thought we got rid of that.
Nope, the town still owns it.
Okay.
But it's, I mean,
We give someone access to the water? 'Cause we didn't-
no, this little area right here between the pump and the other properties, that's just an easement so that we can get it to the road if we wanted to. So for economic projects, if someone wanted to build more up on the hill, or if we wanted to do more expansion of town water down on West Main Street or Atlantic Highway, this can be our source so that we're not getting pumps to go up.
Right,
We can just get it to go down.
right.
But again, that pretty much limits what happens up there. We're not going to be having people go up there for picnics or anything anytime soon.
Mm.
This is the town forest right here.
Yep.
Conservation Commission has actually just recently got some members who are very enthusiastic about doing something over here. So
How wide is that? I mean, is it 150 feet wide or how wide is it? Do you know?
Give me a sec. Like from down here or
Yeah.
closer to the road?
Either way, either end. One's 3/4 of the other.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
Very deceptive. And I think when I was looking at all these different properties, I think if we were to just get an easement from this abutting property owner, you could actually have a trail system that would connect to the Spofford property that goes all the way down to Bremen Road.
Wow.
Is Old County Road ever going to be passable all the way through? Do you know?
That's a good question.
Yes, it is a good question, George. I was just thinking about that the other day, actually.
I think
I've
it's the
even tried to
original-
get through on my bike and it's not very, you know,
I think that's probably the original coastal road, but that's my theory.
yeah, early GPS to give directions to Dutch Neck from the south would try to send people that way.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Don't fall for it. Yeah. So that's not something that we hear about in the town office about its future.
No, I never hear too much about Old County Road or anyone down here having too many thoughts on it.
Beautiful property back there.
Well,
Spofford property?
to what extent at each end is any of that town road or all of it? Or
Old County? Old County Road should be marked on the map. Just give it a sec. Looks like it's town road up to this point, and then it's Spofford property,
Hmm.
and then and then it gets into a weird area all the way up to Nobleboro, and then it's clear from the town line to Route 1 that it's town road from there.
Yeah, it's dirt and passable until you get to the middle 1/4 mile probably, and then you better have 4-wheel drive.
It's a rather very private road from that end to that.
I don't know as it says private, but it's certainly not plowed, and you don't want to be there in your sports car.
Hmm.
So anyways, that's the town forest.
So
And
you said connect to the Spofford property. What advantage would that be to be able to?
It's just a very great recreation opportunity because Spofford property, I don't even know if it'll say it on here. That's several hundreds of acres.
Yeah.
Well, I clicked on it and you can see the blue lighting.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
It's
That's still in the Spofford estate, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
whatever.
yes, but it's under a conservation easement similar to
I see. Okay.
similar to that.
Does that easement outline recreational opportunities or
It does allow recreation opportunities.
pretty
And
good?
you can see
He's got tiny access.
the little interesting area it has down here.
Yeah. Wow.
But I mean, even just getting something maybe here would probably be a tremendous little, because then you don't have to have the parking up here on Route 1. You can have people park here and get all this area.
Just as a tidbit of information, down on where Old County Road, where you can begin to see Route 32, on the north side of Old County Road, there's a well or a spring where the fire department used to go and get all the water they could need. It's just a hole beside the road, but it's got a tremendous amount of recovery if you're ever looking for a place to suck water out of the ground.
Oh,
I'm going to try and quickly go through the last ones just because it's 7:45. Dutch
Yep,
Neck Marine
please.
Park, I don't think I really need to say anything more than that.
no. Yeah, we know that.
What?
I mean, do you want us to sell it?
No.
No.
It would just stay recreation and commercial fisherman focus. So
There is a beautiful parcel out on the Dutch Neck Road end of it, but that's beside the point.
So again, this is probably the last little odd tidbit, but on Bremen Road, there is this little bit right here that is town owned. Again, have no idea why. There's nothing to really suggest why it is the way it is. And
Oh, that's the German church.
this is the German church?
I believe the German church is
that-
there
That's, yeah, that would have to be.
because West Ridge
Yeah.
Road is mine.
Pickup Oh, is it?
No, no, the West German church is near Topsail Farm, if I recall.
Yep.
No, it's further.
Well, it's not, it's Topsail Farms up beyond the top of the hill.
You wouldn't own the German church.
The German church location looks about right. You're moving
Yeah,
around too
that's-
fast for me now.
You're right, Max. It's something else.
Yeah, it has to be, because I remember when Topsail Farm was doing their application, I had to send a letter to the German church.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, because weirdly enough, that
Yes.
property's a butt.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Where did
wait a
that
minute.
parcel go? Where did it just, where'd the yellow, where'd the box go?
Right there.
Way
Oh,
up here.
That's the wrong direction.
I'm sorry, everyone, that I'm causing so much confusion. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
Topsail Farm,
That's that big field right there in the middle of the screen.
this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
This whole thing, both sides of the road.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, this is Topsail Farm. and
Go
then-
back up that way a little bit to that little tiny square, that one. Now that I look at where it is in relation to
Oh,
I don't even think it's developed.
I think that's a little parking, a pull off where they have the end of the sewer line, maybe. I think that's,
That
the sewer
actually,
line.
I think that actually makes sense.
I'm pretty
I think
sure
that-
that's the end of the sewer line.
But that is 0.16 acres.
No, it's just you can park two pickup trucks there and talk to each other.
Yeah.
I bet that's the sewer related.
Oh,
on this.
well, how come there's West Ridge and, okay, West Ridge and, can't even say them anymore. There's West Ridge Road
And West-
above the parcel, and then below the parcel, it also says West Ridge.
I don't know. I know that
Could be
one
a
of them is
little-
mine and one of them isn't.
blame whoever names these roads in a. So,
That is something.
oh, and I didn't even include this one. So over here are the 380 gray fields. I've just
Yep.
decided to connect them as one. The school right now is under negotiation with Volunteers of America, so that might soon be unhighlighted. It's still up in the air, but I'm just leaving it on the map just for
Mhm.
consistency.
Max, how much of that parcel are they negotiating?
What we are at least hoping to get is just selling them the school itself.
Okay,
Because now in the historic village district and the density is no longer necessary. So we would keep the little triangle area, which could be a nice little sit down park. And then we would also keep the tennis courts. So we're not violating anything with the Land Water Conservation Fund.
I think there was a historic significance to that triangle. I think there was a school there many, many, many years ago.
Yes, there is still a single room schoolhouse right down there.
Hmm.
So what I would like to do is take these two remaining the ball fields, this undeveloped lot and the tennis courts, and make something, enhance this a lot.
yeah, that would be terrific.
I was talking with Marcus a lot more. He would like to do something with the ball fields to at least have them properly shifted so that you can have better parking right along the fields. We could still have parking right up here, mainly for the tennis courts, but that's pretty much where it's still at.
We will have to rebuild those tennis courts.
They will have to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Probably just turned into pickleball courts. But this is actually why we are even talking about it, because we wanted to look at doing RFPs for this. And then we spoke with Troy Smith, Ben Vale, and Marcus, and they said, don't you touch those fields. Because everyone loves them. Kids use them all the time. And it's really hard to lose something like this for all of them.
One of the things when I was on the school board, they were trying to, because the access to that school when it was still an active school was always School Street, which was scared fire departments because if you ever had to get in there with the equipment, it would be not good. The parcel that's right to the right of it that comes around and reaches up to Main Street.
Okay.
I'm not sure who owns that, but at one point they wished they had a right of way through it. You know,
Oh, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about, I think it's this person, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then,
I think for some time, what was envisioned was to, or no, it wasn't them. Never mind. Yeah, this was just an interesting person here compared to everyone else.
if you
Where's-
zoom out a little bit more, because there's another place where it swings around up to Main Street. Zoom out just for a second.
Yeah, give it a sec. This one right here.
No, it actually came around. It might have even been up above the corner.
Maybe over here.
Yeah, there was a thought of there would be a way to get up to Main Street above the corner there, but I'm not sure that up near the Historical Society.
Well,
Hmm.
if
Landlocked land back there.
yeah,
Oh,
that
that is- Yeah.
well, that's that
Immaterial.
for 80 Gray. Just to try and round up the last few. There is the former town landfill. This used to be a town landfill over here, right, Bob?
This is on. Fintown?
This is old Route 1 right after the railroad tracks. Yeah. This is under some environmental review right now, so very little we can do.
It's an old landfill right in the center of a wetland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in the center.
That is
Well,
the low point right around there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that is not much we can.
it's
Maybe we
very
can-
wet.
Maybe we can beg someone to take it.
I think that's what they used to
Swimming,
look for.
town swimming pools.
No.
Just dig a hole.
Rusty water.
Yeah, no
Hey,
problem.
Max, what's down here? What's to the bottom of the screen? It
I'll
goes
get
all the way
I'll
across.
get to that last. I just want to finish
Oh, okay. All right.
the
Sorry.
last few because the next ones are pretty obvious ones, and I don't think we're going to do anything. So on Jefferson Street, we have the Kuhn parking lot right there, KUHN parking lot right behind the professional building and right on West Main Street.
You know, I guess I didn't realize that was a town parking lot.
Yeah, it certainly needs a bit more attention, I think.
It needs attention, my friend. Yeah.
There's a lot, because there's quite a few spaces there at least.
Yeah.
I think now that the food pantry has moved out of it, there's a lot more spaces that people can move in on. Just for general.
Just because I'm the old guy in the group right now, or the old resident in the group, that used to be connected by road over behind those three buildings back to Jefferson Street. Used to be
Wow.
like a shortcut.
That actually makes sense, considering I
So-
think I lived on here.
I
So
happen to know.
there's that one, and there's also the parking over here
Yeah.
on that connects to Glidden Street, which has 2 parking spaces devoted to this person. So, yeah, parking spaces. Don't think we're going to do anything over there. This
No.
probably could be.
Well, it would be good to make it like, you know, I've lived here a
Representative.
while and I park in that parking area, but it's not obviously like a place to park to go to downtown.
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah,
have to
totally
climb the
right.
Hill, but it's not obvious that it's a free accessible place for people from out of town to park if they want to go to the downtown.
We have a plan,
Certainly, signage and presentation would
right?
help. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a plan that we worked on about 10 years ago. That's in the downtown, or yeah, about 10 years ago now, downtown village plan that has all the wayfinding for all the potential parking spaces in town.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
But even a sign that says town parking or some, you know, like, so you know you're not on private property.
Yeah.
I think
It's not obvious that you're not on private property there.
No, I would think I would be on private proproperty. I'd
Yeah,
think the
yeah,
exact
yeah.
opposite.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
And yet the parking behind the pharmacy is private property.
it is. And I was about to say a
We all
lot
go
more.
there.
I
Yeah,
was about to say a lot more people know about this one
right.
Yeah.
because I think it's a lot more visible, and it might be more to George's point. You know, a lot of businesses definitely use this parking lot, so it's more familiar. Whereas
Yeah.
But that one's private.
over here, this is
Yep.
this is private, and over here, which should be something I think everyone could use, it's rather quiet because 2 or 3, these buildings use it pretty much.
I think that there's a sad reality that nobody likes to walk uphill unless you grew up in San Francisco. And,
Yes.
and that parcel is further down the hill from
Yep.
all the things we're dying to do than
Yeah.
the private one. But
Yeah.
yeah, we are not hill climbers anymore.
And as I say, that's probably a presentation thing, similar to the Flynn Street one. I think that was included in the original plan as well. Try and make this a bit more presentable for trying to get up to the.
Is that private owned or public?
This is public. I don't know why I didn't include this as a highlighted thing.
Okay, so that is public land?
Yeah, you see the cars right up here. This is public land.
Oh, that would be good to add. So who owned the private parking that we just talked about? Who owns that?
That is owned by Betsy Worcester, yes.
The big lot where Maine in front of Maine Kebab, that bigger lot.
Yeah, Betsy Worcester.
Okay. And is she associated with any of those businesses that are up there?
The pharmacies? Not anymore.
They don't they own part of the building?
They own the building, the pharmacies.
Yeah.
The pharmacy.
They own, right at the corner.
So do a lot of, maybe I'm getting off track here. I'm just trying to it's all right. Through that. Do a lot of the people that work in those buildings park there as work parking?
I believe so. That when I looked at it, there's a few right of ways and sort of. And when I spoke about it a while ago, he said there's sort of some handshake agreements.
So, well, speaking of handshake agreement, my thinking was, what if we traded? If we had all the people that were working and using those spaces, because sometimes you go in there really are a lot, a lot of times there's a lot of spaces, but as you can see in this picture, when that was taken, a lot of the spaces are full. Get those people that are working there to park on the town property and make that the town parking and make that accessible to the general public, more accessible, because it's further up the hill. As George made the correct point, people don't want to walk that far, but if you're working there, maybe.
Yeah, most of the stores along the line there, if you set your mind to it, you can.
Starts tomorrow at 8 a.m.
It's certainly an idea to do over here.
Yeah, you can get into those stores from the back in most cases.
Yeah.
I think the other thing to think about is that, the Waldo is going to, as soon as we get past this pandemic, they're almost ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And, and there's going to be nights where there's going to be hundreds of people coming into Waldoboro.
I remember when it used to be like that before. Oh my God, it was wonderful. There were cars everywhere.
But my point is, we're going to need parking.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, this is certainly something that's probably going to be needing a bit more discussion as well. And something that Bill Napower wanted to do when he first got here was get something going with this parking lot so that we can encourage more businesses and development sort of below these buildings, similar to what we're seeing with Maine Kebab right now.
Yeah.
And
plus you could make you could fit a lot more cars in there if you organized it better.
Well, and again, this is a thing that I'm having UMO do, and I want to thank Betsy Worcester a lot for her cooperation and letting them do this. They're looking at two different things. One is making this, jammed with as many cars as you can, but also when we were there and we were seeing it actually has a very good view of the river right there.
Beautiful.
So, get as many cars as you want, but, certainly try and beautify this and maybe even have a little spot, because I think right around here is where you get a very good spot that could end up being a parking area, or not a park, like a sit down.
Yeah, cool.
That's interesting. That property also is less problematic access to the store or lumber property. There's the road that goes down to what used to be the sewage treatment plant.
Yeah.
Right there. And then I think Freddie Stora bought it. And so that is a much easier access than his crazy steep driveway. I'm not sure if he's ever going to use it, but
I don't know. Again, this is with the utility district and store. Those would have to involve talking with them. I'm just focusing more on. I should be focusing on the town properties.
Right. I think Freddie does own that, by the way, but that's beside the point. Okay, back to the yellow boxes.
I'd have to look at that. All right. So yes, yellow boxes. again, we should almost be done. Pine Street, again, I don't really think much needs to be discussed over there. Over here, we have these interesting little corners in Waldeboro. This one right on the corner of Pine Street and Main Street between the water and the roads. And then this one on the literal corner of Madomic Terrace, Pine Street, Main Street. This is more of just I think this is where we have flags and sort of memorial areas. I don't think that's going to really change much. I think when I first got here, the town was looking at doing a land water conservation grant to purchase the Henry Cabot property, turn this all into one big sort of waterfront walking area. I think that's still something we would like to do at least. I think we just need to reach out to Henry and see if, has anything.
Is it still on the market? It was on the market last summer.
No, he decided to keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why
I knew he was selling it again, but
and that's why I'm saying perhaps we just need to reach out to him, even if it's not the whole property and it's just carved out. So we have a green connection between these areas on West Main Street and Pine Street itself. Just having that little river walk would probably go a long way.
That'd be really spectacular. It would.
Yeah, there's a little house up near the road. It may be that if you carved the parcel up so that he kept the little house and
Right.
you just had the shore front where you can't do anything anyway, that would be
Yeah,
lovely.
there'd be no need for the house at all, really.
Right.
So then over here, again, I don't know why it does that. So over here is the Stall. This is a town-owned property up near Stall Farm. By the way, I'm not including the Sylvania plant because despite the vote that happened, we haven't finished anything.
right.
So this is going to still remain private just for the time being. And over here, again, this is town-owned property up at the Stall Blueberry Farms. I have no idea why this thing exists, really. Like,
There's a place up on the
Is it
hill
well?
behind.
Reservoir up there.
I think that's behind Mab's old place.
Yeah, I think, and it's a great stone.
Water. yeah, it says
It's
it's
a water tower, so it provides pressure.
A what? A stone what?
It's a whole stone basin that we used to pump water to from my.
Yeah, it's not that one. It's the one down Friendship the other way.
Well, anyway, this was owned, I'm sure, because it was a town water supply
Another one?
on the top of a hill. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Because
I
we
know that
have the one behind Mab's house is down the street.
that's not.
No,
that
this is right where the Sylvania is. Mab's is down earlier towards the center of town.
yeah, the other water tower I'll get to in a moment.
Okay, well then I'm wrong.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck this is and where's the access.
The access is right here. This is the Stall Farm Road. And that's why I'm saying it's probably not really that beneficial for the town. Maybe the stalls will want it. Last year, I think Ted Worcester was suggesting to turn this into a solar farm, especially if we can get cooperation from abutters. But but it was kind of a rushed arrangement, and I don't think the select board did any action at the time.
Well, is there 3-phase running down to where the Sylvania?
Yep.
Yeah,
Three-phase
there
power.
is.
It's also, I think, near, I don't know, yeah, put your topography on for a second. I think that's very near the top of the ridge, which would mean wind potential if it's a north-south ridge.
Is that all blueberry fields up there?
I wouldn't say it's fully on the ridge. It's around here is probably where the ridge is.
Yeah. But if wind's coming up off the river, it's going right over that parcel.
I believe it's a blueberry field up there, Jen, but
That road actually doesn't touch it.
No.
it's not a long lot.
So where is the property behind the Beinecke
Mab's.
place I'm talking about?
So you're probably thinking, and this will be
Yep,
so
that's it.
So this is Friendship Street School.
Yep.
I think once we can find a more permanent location for Head Start, this might be sold just because it's waterfront property, and there might be some very good potential buyers for this spice.
What's the waterfront like there?
There's a sunken shipwreck right at the bottom of the hill there. In fact, you can see it in this picture.
Yeah, look at that.
Old Point. That's a ship that came in to be repaired that wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm pretty sure you can even see the water from the school itself. So you don't.
Yeah.
It's a very steep building.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that as a benefit, you don't really need to do too much cutting or anything down there just to get a good shot of the water.
Mm.
Now, this is probably what you're thinking of, George. There's the
Yeah.
water tower over here.
Can you zoom in on that? Because I remember seeing like a basin, not like that black circle.
Yeah,
there.
that's the basin.
Right. And then there's a tower near it, a tank near it.
Yeah. And
But I have a feeling there's a spring up there that fills that.
Mm-hmm. I remember Mab talking about it.
Yeah.
so
But that's a huge lot.
that is a huge lot, and that is accessed through the Madomic house right here, where the food pantry is now located. I've had quite a few people who have accidentally gone all the way up rather than using the drive-through signage.
Does the town own the road?
The town doesn't own the road. It is granted an easement from the owners here. So I'm not sure what they would be doing in terms of if we were to sell this off. And it's actually a very steep hill. I can't think of too many buildings going on. The town could certainly keep where the water tower is itself if we wanted to sell any of this off.
Where's the other end of that go to?
The other end,
Like to the right of the screen. Where does that end up?
oh, that ends up all the way
There we go.
to the railroad.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the railroad. That's interesting.
Yeah, it
Wow.
goes quite a ways, actually. And
Hey,
actually,
Max, what's that little piece that touches Friendship Street? Where does that go?
this,
Yeah.
that's just a little spot between two houses.
Okay. But we own it. I mean, the
We
town.
own it. We own it.
Ron Phillips. I think
And
Ron
it
Phillips.
goes to,
I think Ron Phillips may be that little rectangular parcel right south of the point there.
I'd have to look at the tax maps. I think you could at least sell off maybe this area, because this little heel is very unnecessary, I think, for the town, unless the water line runs through there. But this is something that could probably just be sold off, and we either have a trail system right here, or we just have some. I mean, this actually would probably be more to George's idea of putting a wind turbine or two up here.
Yep.
How wide is that in feet?
What?
How wide?
How wide is that in feet?
Oh, it's quite a bit, actually.
This the narrow strip.
It is 203, 210.
That's interesting. Wow, that's really interesting.
but it
Huh.
does, that tab down in the lower left does actually connect to Friendship Street. It's unclear whether it,
I think that's a little ravine with water going down through it, if it's what I think it is.
Yeah, I'll zoom in as close as I can. There is literally two homes right here, and the only thing separating them is about 23 feet of town property.
Yeah, I think that's a creek.
oh, so it's not like you could have a right of way through there.
I don't think so.
You could. I don't know how it would go.
It depends, you know, one of the things is every spring, if you're driving down Friendship Street at that point, the water coming off the side of the hill is amazing. It's the melt between the melt and whatever. Most of the houses on the other side, their basements aren't, you know, they're dirt basements and water goes through them. Under the house.
Well, anyways, that is.
Well, this has been most educational. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send a link out to everyone and hopefully you can uh, get
When I
this.
opened the map that you sent,
It's just the,
yeah, you couldn't see anything. So I need a link to this, whatever this is.
This is our GIS software, isn't it?
yes, what I sent everyone was just a still image. This is an online map that I use.
I don't think we can use it unless we're the town.
Unless you're-
Right.
probably.
Yeah.
Very expensive service.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and find a way of sharing this, and I'll send out a list of all the spots as well.
Yeah, the list. So what does the list have on it for info?
The list just states the map and lot number, the street address, the number, the acreage of it, and if it has a common name, what the common name is. For example, this does need a bit of updating because it refers to the 80 gray lots over here as the CLC YMCA.
Oh, that was way back.
Right. But that would be a good place to start to add, like, even some of the things that we talked about or potential, you know, what the original use was and
Right.
what potential uses we might.
Yeah, and I would just
Would it be appropriate to try and take a step forward here and somehow engage the Board of Selectmen in a discussion that, I mean, can we as a group request them as a group to consider what might be sold or be put on the market? Is that something?
That's actually kind of that's what the select board has actually already done. They've tasked the EDC with looking at all these properties and saying, here's what we have. What do you want to sell? What do you want to keep? And
What do you want to repurpose?
what do you want to repurpose?
Yeah, okay, yes, that makes sense. I guess before, in terms of sort of determining what do we want to sell, is our overall objective as a town revenue?
It's
Is revenue from taxes like repurposing, I mean, I'm just trying to understand, like, where do we want to go with these things? Because some of them obviously are more amenable to recreation. Some could be just to get cash. So we're just looking for best purposing, or is there an overriding intent?
Are we paying to insure these places?
well, hold on. Let's have Bob speak first.
It's to optimize and prioritize what we have, usage of what we have. And if it's deemed advisable and possible to sell it, and there's nothing else to do with it, yeah. But it's not revenue driven.
Do we pay insurance for liability if someone breaks their ski in there? Or?
I'm imagining that town properties are covered by the policy, but I can't answer that definitively.
I mean, if
And there's also pretty good state protection for landowners, for people using their property for recreation. There's some pretty robust.
I was just wondering if there was a financial incentive to sell it because we're paying insurance on it and not getting taxes.
Right.
Well, I think the other part is that and something I'll add to the list is what the property is valued at, so that we can look at it as, okay,
Oh, yeah.
that little nothing spot next to that little nothing spot on Cross Street is, I don't know, $50,000 in value. If we were to just sell it to the neighbor, then that's not $50,000 in revenue that we're $50,000 potential dollars in value that we're losing out on or making an exemption for. So
The other thing,
part of it.
Max, could you, Max, find out some of the questions that we had about some of the current uses of some of these? For instance, the little piece on Jefferson Street that used to be, I don't know if it was called a pump station or something.
Right.
Just double check on some of these where, for instance, even if there's any water pipage coming off of Mab's old property, cross Mab's property or something for the water above it.
Mm-hmm.
And little things like that would help a lot when we're looking at this.
Okay.
And maybe make a list of something, because I think that when you've got something like the piece on Old Route 1 that is clearly really, really wet, that's an important piece of information to just, hey, this is on the wetland, or this is mostly wetland, or,
Okay.
things like that. Plus the ones that are currently used already, that are used for different purposes. You've got the ball fields on there. You've got maybe to ask more clearly what the question is about those, because if the town already has a goal for using a piece of property, it shouldn't probably be on the list for us to make recommendations on, unless you have a different question to ask.
Well, if you see something like, why hasn't the town just done this? Like for example, Scott was going on down with the parking lot down in the downtown. Why doesn't the town use get an agreement or something with Betsy Worcester so that their parking lot is for more public, and the Coon parking, is it Coon or Coon? The Coon parking lot is for more private employees, something like that. I don't think we really had a plan going on down there, but that's certainly, or with Henry Cabot's property, I was saying, it would be great to just buy some of that property so we have a waterfront. But someone here may say, why don't we just take those little scraps, sell it to Henry, and put a gazebo at the corner, something like that. So
Okay.
we really do want to just get some second opinions from everyone at this point.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. And I think, I think we're going to continue to have these sorts of meetings for a while. And, what we can do is maybe have Max get the background on maybe, say, 5 properties in terms of, are they wetlands? Are they limited because there's a well on site or whatever? But then we could actually really start thinking in terms of what makes sense for the town to do with those 5 properties. And, and really start going into detail in terms of, is that a great place for a park? Is that something we should consider offering to a neighbor? Just kind of think through the options that we have. But I think the purpose of today was to get everybody on the committee kind of an overall sense in terms of what properties the town has available.
That's exactly it.
Does that make sense to everybody?
So
Yeah.
I'll make sure to have that.
The other column on your spreadsheet should probably be, and maybe this is just a short version of what you just said, but does the town have a plan for that parcel right now? I think that's what you said, but it really is an important question.
No, I'll include that. That's actually a good idea to include. I think if there is a regular plan. Okay. So it's 8:20, so I don't want to go too long.
Taking up enough of your time, Max.
On the map. Well, you're here too. So
By the way,
for the map, that's at least for the maps. Is there anything? I don't think there's anything else really.
anything interesting in the planning board, Max?
Yeah, I
Yes.
just sent emails to the planning board members today. We will potentially have 2 applications. One is a solar farm on Controversy Lane. That's been in the works for quite some time. And then the other potential projects, but we might be cut off because of time with that one, is a drive-through or a coffee restaurant on Route 1 between Tucker Chevrolet and the Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, good.
Oh, boy.
Competition.
Starbucks?
They're using it for something.
Yeah.
With luck, they will go over very smoothly. But as I said, the drive-through one might not be touched on next meeting. It depends on what discussion is done for the solar farm.
Yeah.
Nothing from Trader Joe's yet.
Not that I can publicly tell you, George.
Oh, another dreamer besides me.
Hey, Max, you did a great job, I think. And this is a cool program, this thing.
Yeah. very helpful.
Hmm.
Thank you. I sometimes have a bit too much time on my hand, and COVID certainly was that time.
Yeah, well, we're not out of that yet, but on our way, maybe.
The early days, at least during the lockdown.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Max, I've got a separate piece of business, but the grant money for the food pantry, we did get our grant money from Good Shepherd,
That's good.
and we did get the full almost $5,000. So that was terrific.
Yes.
And we're able to repurpose the money for the drive-through system for a new freezer.
Well, that's perfect.
That's wonderful. Hey,
I'll add on to that. We should be getting all of the Keep Maine Healthy grant funds, which some of it goes to the food pantry. We'll be getting that soon, hopefully next week. And if Ruben was here, I would probably be having him stay a little bit extra so that we can install the new stuff for video conferencing.
But that did get approved.
It did get approved. The checks are in the mail. They just take quite a long time because of the weird thing. I'll show you the stuff after this, Bob.
Somebody made reference to it, but it's probably worth expanding with actual information. The Waldo Theater has successfully raised a bunch of money and is making some headway. I don't have the details. I just know that they reached a goal.
they met their match, which is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that affects all these businesses when that starts to shine.
I think they're ready. I think that they're going to be able to launch physically as soon as we're able to open again. And their concerts that they've done virtually have been very successful. They've got the technology installed in there and everything. It's quite impressive.
That's good.
Yep.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah. I have a question, Jan. I
Yes.
saw something, I can't remember where, that it looked like maybe the food pantry was looking for business sponsors for something. Did I misunderstand?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that references, to be honest.
Okay. I didn't know.
I mean, obviously, we're always looking for volunteers and financial help.
Right. Well, I was wondering if there was a way to offer sponsorships. I don't know of what. I don't know.
Well, so that's interesting. One of the things that we're taking on is we're trying to up our Facebook presence, and we've got a much cleaner, I think, Facebook approach to the food pantry. But we're also developing a website for the food pantry.
Oh,
So that there may actually be some sponsorship opportunities. That's a really interesting idea.
Well,
I will bring. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know how hard it is right now for businesses to get in front of people, right?
Yeah.
In terms of awareness. I mean, all of us are so focused on, surviving and getting through it that, but there's going to come a time, and hopefully, I pray that next summer we might have a little bit more activity, able to do that. And when that happens, the businesses are definitely going to want to go whole hog, and get advantage of it. But in the meantime, there might be, opportunities for sponsorship might be a really good way to keep our businesses in front of people's eyes or something. I don't know. It's just an idea.
I'll bring that up at the next directors meeting. I think that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really any other items.
I don't have anything else. Max, do you want to go ahead and maybe pick a handful of maybe 3 properties that we could talk about in detail at our next meeting? And then, you may want to go forward and, gather all the details on all the properties, but at least have them available for, 3 properties that you would pick as being significant in terms of opportunity.
Okay.
Is our next meeting February 2nd?
If that's the first Tuesday, yep.
Should be. Okay.
All right. Does anybody have any other business they'd like to discuss?
Well, John's here, and usually we always ask what's happening with what's going on with Lincoln Health during this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
time.
Well, we're moving through some of the categories of vaccination of healthcare workers. Obviously, we keep them healthy. They're there to care for the people who are ill. I think the biggest message that we're trying to get to the public is that the vaccination for the general public is not days off or weeks off. It's months off.
Yeah.
We're certainly preparing as if we are going to be delegated with the responsibility at Lincoln Health to vaccinate the public. So our planning is well underway. We've learned a lot in our employee or healthcare worker vaccination process. So, and we're looking for partners in Lincoln County for potential public sites to do a larger scale vaccine. But we're seeing an uptick of people who are extremely frustrated that they can't get the vaccine right now. And I think I think they're seeing other states on the national news that are getting some vaccines out the door. When we do start with the public, we'll start with what has been categorized as the 1C tier or patients, which is, the people who have underlying healthcare conditions that are older. Some states they're doing it at age 70, in other states 65. I don't know that that's been determined yet. But the really good news for us in being part of the Maine health system is we've got access to a lot of experts, much larger systems that are attempting to do this at a much larger scale approach. So us being a little bit smaller, we should be ready. And our folks who are doing that work are just working really, really hard right now to get that all taken care of. Our elder care, senior living, or nursing homes have been vaccinated by a company called Guardian. So through the state, it's been a third party sort of arrangements. We did some vaccines today or yesterday. I guess it was yesterday at Cove's Edge, which is the nursing home in Damascotta, and tomorrow we'll be doing some in St. Andrews and Booth Bay Harbor. So we're trying to get the staff and the residents vaccinated, there is a ray of hope for sure.
Are you using the one that has to be kept super cold? And do you have enough places to get super cold?
Yeah, we are not getting that one. We're getting the one. So the Pfizer one had to be kept extremely cold and needed specialized freezers. We did not have that technology, nor do many places. So our larger hospitals with the Maine Health got the Pfizer vaccine. We got what's known as the Moderna vaccine. Again, it's a 2-dose vaccine with the 28 to 32 day window after the initial vaccine. And that requires less refrigeration. So we do have the capacity to keep those doses.
So we aren't being hindered by our refrigerators.
We're not, because the availability of the Moderna vaccine works for us. So we're not being hindered in any way, shape, or form with that. So
I know somebody who has one of those refrigerators, is why I ask, and it's not being used.
Yeah, we've been, quite frankly, the Moderna vaccine is a little bit easier to administer because of that fact and other factors with it. So that's working really well for us so far. And I know that people don't want to hear that it's going to be months away for the vaccine. As much as we don't like to be delivering that message, we'd certainly like to be doing it as soon as possible. But, we ask for people to have some level of patience and understanding as we get through this. We will get through it and hopefully come out much better on the other side. But it's going to be a while.
Just the practical nature of getting everybody vaccinated. Just think of the bottleneck that you folks are facing. It's mind-boggling, really.
Right, and that's one of the good experiences we've had doing it on a lower scale with our healthcare workers, is to get some sense as to how that would work in a perfect world. The challenges that I think we are going to have is, getting to that level of what the experts call herd immunity, where there are many people who simply don't want this vaccine. And the way that it will work best is if people have the opportunity to get it and take advantage of it. I think some of that angst may dissipate over time when more people are vaccinated and the side effects are minimal and you're not seeing a lot of issues with the vaccine. You might see some inspired confidence at that point, but I think that's one of our biggest concerns is we certainly want to be in a position to vaccinate as many people as possible, but at the same time, we want as many people as possible to want to be vaccinated.
Well, I know I do. that's one, John.
Right. Because we're in a position where as soon as we have any information, we'll hit all of our media sources. We'll be in touch with our town managers. We'll really want to get the word out because I know that those who do want it are anxious. And as soon as we can sort of dispel some of that anxiety, we really like to do that.
Yeah, terrific.
I believe our EMS has been vaccinated.
Oh, good.
Oh, wonderful.
And we're working with outside of Lincoln Health providers now, like primary care practitioners who are not affiliated with Lincoln Health, dentists and others are dealing with folks. So we're pulling those lists together in the hopes that we'll be able to get to those folks really soon.
Makes sense too. Yeah.
In terms of notices, because of the Keep Maine Healthy grant, the town's actually subscribed to the Code Red Alert system. So when you have some news to share about COVID, whether it's good or bad, you just call Julie here and say, hey, can you share this news with the people in town? Everyone will be getting a text message within the next 30 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Right. I'm very familiar with that system as I used to work at Maine CDC. The Health Alert Network is a great resource.
Hey, Max, how do people sign up for that?
I think it automatically happens.
Just go onto the town website and sign up, subscribe.
No, the Code Red Alert system.
Oh, that I don't know.
That I think it's automatically just sent to your phone.
Right, but what about people who don't?
Our phone number.
Right. What about people who don't have smartphones? I mean, or who have landlines or who have, non-smartphones?
Yeah, it's something that I think I'm actually going to be taught about it more tomorrow, but I think it just sends some type of alert to everyone's. If you put down a phone number or an email for your emergency contact information, I believe John probably knows more and could explain it better.
I think on the Maine CDC website, there used to be a place to go to sign up for the health advisory or the health alert network where you would plug in your information and you'd automatically get a feed from Maine CDC. Some municipalities use that as sort of their emergency notification system as well. And sometimes that's built from the inside out versus just you signing up through the Maine CDC. But if you wanted to get sort of state level alerts, you certainly could get that by signing up on the Maine CDC website for either the Health Alert Network or the Health Advisory Network.
Again, I'll be taught more about it soon, and maybe I can have a better way of explaining it that doesn't sound too invasive or anything.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm on the page. I just looked it up. It's the Maine CDC Health Alert Network system. However, it doesn't have anywhere to sign up for it. It just has the alert listed that they have released on it with dates. You can subscribe to an RSS feed.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking about, the subscription to the RSS feed.
Yeah, I don't see a way to.
I won't dwell too much on it just because of the time. And again, I'm not an expert on the thing right now.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to solve that one here.
Yeah.
Make sure to keep you all updated when I do.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other new business? Okay, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Max, thank you for all that information.